Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Special day for podcast.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Someone had surgery, so congrats to the eye surgery, Chris.
Can see.
So Chris just did his eye surgery last week.
I'm very happy.
I could say that I did mine when I was 21, and
When
phenomenal
I did it at
results.
31.
It's all good.
10 years later.
Tell you later. It's all
That's
good.
funny.
Exactly.
10.
What's the magic number with 10?
I have no idea, but I'm going to figure it out.
One plus 0 is 1, so the magic number is 1.
And robots would say 0 1s is a language. Maybe it's saying hi.
There you go. Algebra, you know that. It uses 0 1s. 1 0 0 1s.
I remember from algebra is pi. Because I was hungry.
Not algebra. I'm saying linear algebra is what I meant.
Linear.
Yeah.
Sounds anorexic.
Alright, most of you are probably at work right now. That's fine. You can watch this after, obviously. Today we're talking about the large intestine. So we have the large intestine and the kidneys left, with all part of the digestive tract. So basically the large intestine is where we hold or we absorb our minerals, our electrolytes, our water and electrolytes. And this is where most of our elements basically get absorbed, but they also get flushed out, right?
It's the end game of everything we take in.
Literally. And if you learn to let go, which we're going to be talking about that because emotionally letting go of things is part of the large intestine.
And it's connected to being constipated.
Yep, that too. Very true. So biochemically, we can see also that 95% of our bacteria is in the large intestine. So there's different parts of the large intestine, right? You got the ascending colon, you got the transverse colon, descending colon, you got the cecum, the appendix, which is part of the large intestine or the colon. Then it comes out to the, after the descending colon, you have your anus and your the rectum and the anus. That's where everything comes out, right?
For those who don't know what anus is, it's your asshole. Sorry, I have to say something.
Thanks for the clarification. Your anus. So, basically, what I wanted to say with regards to the appendix as well.
Oh yes.
Which is part of the large intestine, right?
Oh.
What happens is the appendix will absorb all the, I was about to say déchets in French, all of the waste products that you don't get absorbed. So whatever doesn't get absorbed by the body and just needs to be excreted first, is going to be the waste into the appendix. And that's why the appendix gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it blows up and you have to get operated or whatever, remove the appendix. But really, if you're able to detox your body and eat clean, and there's no reason for the appendix to enlarge it, because everything is flowing properly. If you're getting enough water, everything is flowing properly. The other thing, emotionally, the appendix, and this I actually learned outside of school and stuff, and doing my own research, is someone who is extremely angry but holds it in completely, like to the point where they're ready to rip apart anybody with just a little trigger.
That's interesting, because I did lose my appendicitis. I did have an appendicitis.
Okay.
Are you saying that I was so angry that I blew up?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was during Sec 5.
Well, you could have had a lot of resentment towards people, frustration towards people. You didn't know how to handle it back then. So all your anger just accumulates, right?
Intriguing.
So that could be a main reason. Because when we look at the emotions of the large intestine, letting go is the main aspect, and that's why a lot of people, they feel constipated sometimes, that it's what aren't you able to let go? There's things that you think of the past, which is another emotion, is thinking too much of the past that you can't let go of, pretty much. You're always bind to it, and that's what makes us constipated. That's another reason why we're constipated. The other, I call it two emotions, but the other emotions related to it is freedom and liberation. It's kind of the same thing, but said differently. Someone that doesn't feel liberated too much, or at all, is going to hold a lot of toxicity in the large intestine as well. So that's something that you want to think of too. So that's on the emotional aspect. Biochemically, again, if we're going back to see what exactly can help the large intestine, so the thing to note again is that 95% of the bacteria that we live by or live in, we are made of 90% bacteria, is in the large intestine. So if we remember last time, 70% of the immune system is in the small intestine, 95% of bacteria is in the large intestine. We have 3.3 million genes versus 23,000 genes. So our cells are actually, there's 23,000 cells compared to 3.3 bacteria cells. So human cells to bacteria cells, there's more bacteria cells versus human cells. So that's a big number. So 3.
Did you say human cells?
If I'm looking at cellular structure, human cellular structure.
Oh, okay, so what comes from within and then what comes from out the side?
From the side, but like bacterial inside. So basically, this is why I'm trying to say we are more bacteria than actual human, if you think of it.
Oh.
Logically, illogically speaking, if you want to think.
So to just put it in perspectives, you're born, you get into the world, that was your bacteria, which also came from your mother. But the moment you touch the world and you're breathing stuff, that's when all the other stuff jumps in.
Yeah.
And that's where you really become, like you're saying, you gain so much bacteria from outside the womb.
Yeah, and the outside of the womb is where basically anything coming from outside of the bacteria, that's what's going to help boost your bacteria, and that's how strong your immune system should be.
So you're saying like your body becomes a city and it builds its own like armies to defeat what has to happen.
Exactly. So I always use this example. You're always getting bullied by someone, right? There's always 10 people versus one person. That's not how bullying works, right?
Douchebags. Yeah.
now, Chris. But basically, if you have 10 people against one, then obviously bad, we'll call the 10 people bad and the one person good. We'll use those terms, but obviously those 10 people will eat up on the
how about we say this?
10 bacteria.
Victim and predators.
There you go. We'll use victim and predator. Perfect. So there's 10 predators versus one victim. Then the predator, there'll be always more predators than the victim, and there's always going to be more predators that'll accumulate in the large intestine,
causing problems to be constipated.
And that's where you'll
like
get
that.
colon issues, colitis, all those kinds of issues.
Interesting.
Right? I call them issues. I don't like to call them diseases, but they're all issues. It's all a biochemical issue.
So at the end of the day, are you saying that based on what kind of emotional state you're in, you're welcoming certain bacteria because you're not kicking them out?
Pretty much. You're feeding the bad bacteria more than anything. And it also goes down to how you're eating, what you're supplementing with. So it's crazy because you have so many supplements, which I'm going to try and go through a few of them, but you have so many supplements that can actually help the large intestine versus a couple for, let's say, the liver. Like the number of supplements that you can have for a large intestine surpasses the amount of other organs. And the reason why is because it's vastly larger. That's where all the bacteria need to be fed, right? Again, we have 110 million bacteria in the body, and that's why we say the body is only 10% human and only 90% bacterial. So
very symbiosis.
Symbiosis. Yes.
Like symbiotes. Venom.
Pretty much. And this is why, we always try and feed our body with pre and probiotics. Prebiotics before your meals, probiotics after your meals. But how I see it is, if you're already, I'm going to use the term obese, if you're overweight, obese, if you already have some problems digesting, if you have already problems with the colon itself, well, you're going to just keep feeding those bad bacteria if you keep providing the probiotics. So I always use probiotics to help recapitulate or to rebuild the cell walls as it should be. So at the end of a phase. So what you really want is to grab the bad bacteria and flush out of the system with other minerals or other nutrients. Amino acids, vitamins, minerals, so stuff like that. L-glutamine would be a good amino acid to help with the repairing of the gut as well.
Because the bacteria can cause damage to the gut.
Exactly.
I mean,
and Yeah, you said it right. And when you have bad bacteria, what else happens? That bad bacteria lingers throughout the whole body, through the bloodstream, and end up hitting your brain. So you end up having bad bacteria in the brain as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's easy, simple terms to understand, but it's to understand that the whole body works together in the sense that if you don't feed it properly, your bad bacteria is just going to take over. As simple as that, or at least for some.
It's interesting because we did talk about how showing positivity towards your food does help.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue that your bacteria is based on that kind of food that you're taking in.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we love McDonald's, we recognize how dangerous it is for us, and it's not really healthy. But if it is once in a while, and it is a showing that I'm showing appreciation towards this food, you could argue that it's going to bring good bacteria within yourself.
Yep. And that's a good point to put up too, because we were seeing gratitude towards what you eat and what you drink. As much, provided it's not actual rubber that you're eating and it's actual just food, if you can change the chemistry from what you're eating just by thinking it, you're changing the chemistry in your body, you're changing the chemistry of the food, then already it helps create that good bacteria all over your body and in your gut. So.
Because in my head, the way I see it is, the more anxious you are, you're not going to walk into something, right? Let's say you're terrified of going to cold water. You're imagining it being the worst kind of experience ever. Then someone pushes you in and you're freezing, you're freaking out, you can't breathe. Only to find out that, your feet touch the ground.
Speaking of cold water, I started taking cold showers again.
Oh.
Holy crap, I forgot how cold it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And are you starting to make it positive for you?
Well, yeah, I started doing this last May. Exactly a year ago, actually.
Wow, it's been a year.
Yeah, well, it's a year that I've done it, but I stopped in December because winter is just crazy for me.
That's insane.
So I did from May. So I did from May to like about the end of November, mid-November, let's say. And obviously you start, lukewarm, cold until you get coldest. And I was doing it every day. And I'm like, I could put it to full blast, and it was like nothing. And I saw the difference in myself. My lymphatic system was better, and even just my skin tone was just firmer. Was a different body. It was like
Wakes you up.
It wakes you up in the morning, but because you're getting the body already stimulated, your vessels, your blood vessels are already like activated. We'll call it.
Interesting.
It was a different feeling, but it felt amazing, and that is another form of physical, from the way I learned it, another way of physical meditation for your body. When you're able to undergo high temperatures, right, you're teaching your body to come out of your comfort zone, and that's one way of letting go of your old habits.
Well, there you go.
And
That's how you reconnect to the topic I began with, which I kind of forgot, but now we understand. Yeah.
But yeah, you let go, and I started again this week, and whoo, it's cold.
Oh, for sure.
It's cold, but
For
yeah,
sure.
you want to try and stay in there for at least a minute and a half, just to get the right benefits. But build up to it.
So we're at a good minute left.
Yeah.
Being frozen.
A minute and a half of being frozen. The other thing I could say is, like I said, I was going to go through some of the list of nutrients.
I like that. Could you go over the steps?
The colon, you mean?
Yeah, like there's different colors, right? So I'm guessing that's
So that's basically what I had mentioned before. So you got the appendix that links to the cecum, links to the ascending colon, goes through the transverse colon. So ascending upwards, then transverse, then descending colon, then into your sigmoid colon. That's where all the poop really forms and flushes out, and it comes out of the rectum and the anus. So all the nutrients that you want, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, melatonin is also created in the large intestine too. So small intestine, but in the large intestine as well. So to help with your large intestine, you got glutamine, like I mentioned before, amino acid. You could supplement with melatonin. Ginger is very good. It actually helps with the intestinal absorption, Curcumin helps with reducing the inflammation of the body itself, and lower inflammation means less problems in the body. CoQ10, which is a coenzyme, which is an antioxidant, a strong antioxidant. We use it for heart issues as well, but you could also help it for any energy cell formation in the body. Helps with the mitochondria, builds your ATP, so your ATP is your energy. You got any vitamin B that'll help with your large intestine. Magnesium for sure. L-carnitine help with fat absorption. Astragalus, which is an herb and it helps boost your intestinal immunity. EPA, DHA, which is your fish oils. Your ashwagandha. I love ashwagandha because it reduces stress in the large intestine and the gut, but it also helps with a whole bunch of other stress reducers in the body, and it actually helps absorb your nutrients much more efficiently. One nutrient that is sulforaphane, which you find in your broccoli. You'll find it better when you steam your broccoli more. So steam your broccoli. It has a component that actually helps with stress, helping with your liver as well. But that gets absorbed in the large intestine. DHEA, I'm not going to go over that one because it's a type of hormone that we're not allowed in Canada. Resveratrol helps with stress. And then you have alpha lipoic acid, which helps fat absorption again. Quercetin, which is another antioxidant. And boswellia, which is another stress supplement for the gut. So you got a whole bunch of supplements there. That's just a few of the supplements that we could have gone over, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that you could use. And that's it. So what I could say is start changing your habits, because extremities are another part of the large intestine. So set yourself right in the right path for the right habit. Start letting go of the past and feel liberated.
And to make sure you feel right, put a check mark.
Yes. And that'll help you let go, actually, because I let go of that. Nice. I've done that in my life.
Check.
So guys, enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Happy Mother's Day as well.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up. I did want to mention also May 19, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. It is a Thursday. We will be hosting a seminar. So a general well-being seminar. We'll be hosting it at the gym here at Cabalas. So for those of you that want to reserve your spots, you can come. There's going to be free refreshments too, coffee, water bottles, teas. We're going to have some mini desserts, or not desserts, but treats as well. So feel free, bring a friend with you. It's only $20. $20 for 2 hours, and you can ask me all the questions you want. Chris will hopefully be there too. You could ask him questions if ever, and hope to see you guys there.
We care.
We care.